Oh,
Oh,
okay. That
wow,
was a
that didn't
very
even ask
sudden
me.
beginning. Wow, that was
Wow.
pretty rude. Guys, Zoom has changed its UI
Yeah.
and now it's difficult to navigate because they
Usually
did
it
it all
asks
in one
before.
bang.
Mm-hmm.
Usually asked before, but we're just going we're raw dogging it today.
Oh yeah.
Welcome back to One on One Ratio Pod, the podcast where we talk about everything but
But
movies.
movies.
I'm Yoav akiva.
I'm Melina Nazarian. We're your two
And
beautiful hosts.
and what are we talking about? Well, what are we talking about this week?
Today, this week, we're talking about the spirit of the
S-
Beehive.
Some benign,
Oh shoot.
incomprehensible, pretentious work from Victor Erice.
Count on Yoav to pick pretentious movies.
It's gonna be an interesting conversation. But before we get to that, usually we have this little segment called movie news where we talk about movie news of the week.
Yeah.
However, I haven't really acquired anything movie news. Have you?
There's literally one thing that I have acquired. One. So we're keeping it nice and short today,
All
guys.
right, nice and short this week.
Um, Here it is. Okay. When I saw this, I was actually kind of shocked. Like I was not expecting this at all. But this is about okay, this is really because it's not really movie news, it's more TV show news, but it's about the Harry Potter series on HBO. Basically, what I heard is that Killing Eve, Succession, and his Dark Materials producer, Francesca Gardner, has been announced as the showrunner for the new Harry Potter series, and
Wow,
Mylod, right?
my lord,
Mark my
my
lord,
lord.
or mark my words. Um,
Mark my
he
words.
he will be directing a good number of episodes,
Oh, really?
and
Who is that?
he directed a lot of the episodes of Succession. He also directed the
Mm.
menu.
Oh, I feel like no one, that's not like a movie you remember the director of, but
No,
well,
but like I know who he is
the
because
direction is really strong in the menu and in Succession.
yeah.
I don't know what episodes he. Thank you.
Okay. I only know who he is because I'm such a Succession stan, so like I
Yeah,
just know that he played a very integral part in creating
yeah.
Succession. Like he wasn't like he's not Jesse Armstrong. He didn't make Succession and write it, but
Mm,
like producing it, helping with directing, like he played a big part. So
yeah.
hearing that he's going to be directing episodes of this new controversial Harry Potter series just was like, oh, okay.
Wait, why is it controversial?
Well, because people are like, we don't need to make a show because the movies are already so good. Um, and
Yeah,
also like the
fucking
whole thing with J.K.
the
Rowling.
secrets of Dumbledore is just too good to like touch, you know what I mean?
Okay, not the
That was
Fantastic
actually so
Beasts.
obnoxious. That's the only movie that I sat down and I have a theory that it actually made me sick because like I watched it and then the morning after I had a really bad cold.
Wow.
So I think
It probably, well, that's not Harry
pretty
Potter though.
much right.
I
It's
don't know.
but
To be
Dumbledore is there.
to be honest, I don't really care. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think some of the stuff from the movies is like too good to replicate, so it's gonna be hard to compare.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
like Daniel Radcliffe. Like, how are you gonna have someone else play Harry Potter? You know what I mean?
I just think the
Um,
Harry Potter movies just kind of aged well. Like
yeah,
apart from J.K. Rowling and all that.
yeah, that
Like the
fucking hag.
CGI, for example, like it still looks good. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't mind it. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. It's kind of
So it's
just
not
I
like
don't know.
Percy Jackson where the movies were really, really bad. So
Yeah.
making a show is like, yay. In this case, I feel like it's like I don't know, it's kind of hard because especially when you
Yeah.
had like such awesome actors like Alan Rickman and like Gary
Yeah, you
Oldman, like
get like such a big cast of British
yeah.
classics. Like you get the wonderful guy that's also in Secrets and Lies that plays the Rat Man,
Oh, oh, oh,
Peter
oh, oh,
Pettigrew.
His name is Spalding, something
Yeah, Timothy
Spalding.
Spall,
Yes,
and then you
Spall,
have
whatever.
David Doolittle. Like there's
Oh my
just so
God, yeah.
much. Well, we'll get to David Doolittle because I have something to say about him concerning this movie. Can you guess it?
Oh,
Can you guess what it is?
yes, I actually think so because I was also thinking of David Thewlis while watching this movie.
Okay, then we'll get to it.
So I don't know
What,
if it's the same thing.
speaking of directors being in like TV shows and shit, have you watched The Sympathizer
No.
with Robert Downey? You know Park Chan-wook like directed that shit?
Oh, yeah, I heard about it. I haven't. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Why is no one talking about that? Anyways,
Because it's on Apple, I
well,
think.
thank you
Anyway,
for
that's it.
the yeah, no one talks about um thank you for the movie news.
You're
Should
welcome,
we
guys.
let's move on to the next segment, I guess.
Yeah, I think
Next
Yoav,
thing
you
we
should
have
start.
is what we watched this week. How many things did you watch this week, Meli?
Two movies.
I watched five. So
Oh boy. All right, let's do it.
first thing, um, I've deleted Instagram as of recent, and that's increased my usage of Reddit.
Oh boy,
And
that's
I
not any
found that
better.
I found this movie on r/letterbox called Cats Dreaming in a Foreign Place, and it was very
Oh, I
cute.
saw you review that.
It was so stupid. I just seemed so stupid in that review, but yeah. Um, and I've been working in a movie theater. I got into some really cool screenings. Um, First one I got into was Donnie Darko, which
Guys, I love that
was
movie.
what an experience of a film. I mean, from the
Yoav's
beginning,
review was
like
so pretentious, guys.
what? Meli's review of fucking well, we'll see what you watched, and then I'll tell you because I forget. Because it's just so easy to forget what she writes because they're just like so pretentious. So I just like pass it off. I'm like so pretentious. That's what I do every time I read her reviews. I roll my eyes. Um, Donnie Darko was just so interesting. I don't really have a lot to say. I don't think it's a masterpiece, but I think it's very interesting. And Jake
Wow.
Gyllenhaal is a cutie.
I disagree with
And
that statement.
you don't like it, or you
No, I
think it's a
think it is a
masterpiece?
masterpiece. I love that movie.
So what? I don't know. Do you have a special like interpretation of it? Because I don't know. I think it's something I might need to rewatch to like
You have to
wrap more
rewatch.
out of.
You have to rewatch. See, if I start talking about it, I fear I will not stop.
We've never talked about it.
No, we haven't.
But anyways, Donnie Darko was very interesting. The cinematography was cool, and just like the whole vibe, it was very like I feel like if I watched that like in like ninth, like eighth, ninth grade, I my mind would like fucking blow up.
Yeah.
Anyways, but like it was very fun, and it was
Hmm.
very like cool to watch. It's just like a cool movie to watch as a teenager, where it's like this is very like resonant in a way.
It
So yeah,
is.
what'd you watch?
That's all you watched?
No, I'm trying to do like an
Oh,
alternation kind of
gotcha,
thing.
gotcha,
Is that a
gotcha.
word? Probably not.
Um, I know what you mean. Okay.
Okay.
So I watched two things. The first thing I watched is I watched Female Trouble directed by John
Oh,
Waters.
that is such a good one. That is such a good one.
Yeah.
And
I liked Pink Flamingos more,
okay.
but this movie was crazy in all the best ways. I kind of said in my review that like the first 40 minutes are really good and I was like
Mm,
hooked. And then the middle, like however long it was, I was getting a little, it kind of drags and I was getting a little bored and it was like I don't know, it was kind of repetitive, and I was like, okay, like where are we
That's
going with
kind of, I feel
this?
like that's just kind of how Waters is though, because I think when his movies are intended to watch with a crowd, for sure.
Yes,
Like
yes.
he proves that with movies like I don't remember what movie it is where he made the Stinko-rama. You know what I'm talking about? Where basically everyone in the audience got like a card, like a scratch and sniff card. And then during the movie there's like flashes. It's in every cut of the movie. There's flashes of like numbers on the screen, and that's when you have to scratch. It's like an audience participation thing.
Oh,
That's when you have to scratch something on the card. It's like or like how they would bring barf bags to Pink Flamingos,
yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like it's his movies were always like intended to be watched as a crowd and kind of
Yes.
made fun of because they are like shit in many ways. I mean, they're wonderful and they're
Yeah.
revolutionary and they're so much fun. But they are like he's called the king of trash,
Yeah.
so that kind of stops. It's kind of
Well,
hard to criticize John Waters for what he is,
no, of course. The last
but I
20
get it.
minutes are
The nonsense.
incredible.
Yeah,
And yeah, I mean, like I totally understand how and why this is such an important movie for like the queer community, like with all of his movies, but
yeah,
you know,
I,
someone wrote, oh, one of the characters in the movie said the quote, "The world of the heterosexual is a sick and boring one," and I was like,
yeah.
and that honestly just kind of
Sums it up.
sums the whole
Yeah,
movie up in and of
yeah.
itself, but
I think that movie has like I never thought I'd say this in my whole life, but the funniest sexual assault scene ever. There's a very funny scene where a
which
man
one?
like in the like real beginning when she first runs away from home,
Oh,
where
like when
a man
the
in
one
like
when
a
she gets
diaper,
impregnated
yeah, how he
and there's
impregnates
the
her with
shit.
his underpants on, and there's
No,
just
he
just
didn't.
a he just
Did
has a
he did
poop.
was that considered sexual assault?
Yeah, he was like attacking her, dude.
I thought she
He
wanted to
got her
have.
pregnant.
No, I know, but I thought she wanted to have sex with him.
I don't know. I
Okay,
kind of read
whatever.
it as sexual assault, but it's not clear. And he has a poop smear,
Dude,
and
it was
it's
so
just so,
gross when it showed from
dude,
behind and you can see his poop riddled underwear. I was like, that is
it's so
just
gross.
no,
So
no.
gross. It's so good. Anyways, yeah. I watched a movie called A Safe Place, which is apparently um one of the first homosexual kind of filmmaking things from the 1970s in Israel. And
Hmm.
it was a very interesting movie, and I resonated with it a lot. It's like a short film. It's like 35 minutes long. But it was very cool. And the director of this passed away recently, and like there's been a lot of reappraisal of his work, and its importance as well. And he obviously started a big thing, so it was pretty
Nice.
cool. I watched a Makmal Buff movie, um, from 1995 called Salam Cinema. And it was good. It was interesting. It was kind of like a play, but it's about cinema as a thing, and it's just like about this director played by the director of the movie who puts up an advertisement in the papers calling for an open casting for his next movie,
Hmm.
and then too many people show up. It's like thousands of people, and he has to try to make a decision about the casting, like try to get through screen tests, and it's
Oh,
very
that sounds fun.
it sounds fun, and then it's like it's not as fun as it can be, you know.
Oh,
Did you say your second thing?
no.
Okay.
I also watched The House That Jack Built. Um,
Oh,
directed by Lars von Trier.
oh,
You know,
oh, you've had a
it's
pretty traumatic week in film.
yeah, two very powerful movies, graphically powerful. Um, or powerfully graphic, whatever.
Mm,
It was interesting. I gave it 2.5 because to me, it's just I just it's so clear when a director is writing a script and is making a character say something, not because the character necessarily has to, but more because the director just wants to insert how smart they are and how
yeah,
mesmerizing they think their writing is and how
yeah.
and when they want the audience to know, yeah, I can write this and I know so much and you don't, and it's so obvious that that's exactly what Lars was doing with this movie. And it was like at some point it was like just like the main character like rambling on and on and on, and I'm like,
Because you haven't had good experiences with Lars von Trier in the past. Like you watched
I watched
um
Antichrist.
Antichrist, which you didn't like.
No. But this one, I don't know. And then he there was one point in the movie where he put clips of his own movies in his own movie. Does that make sense?
That doesn't make any sense.
Like
That's crazy.
think about like you know how have you watched Babylon?
No.
Ugh. Okay, well, you know how sometimes in movies, like the director will do a montage of other movies they pay homage
Yeah.
to or whatever. He
Yeah.
literally did that, but like,
Frankenstein and Spirit of the Beehive.
yeah. Oh yeah, yes, exactly. Um, this
With his
he
own
with his own
movies.
movies, and I was like, there is no way you put
The
your own
amount of
movies in here.
ego that it takes to do
Yeah.
that.
So
That's crazy.
like
How did that come into play? Like was the character watching it or
no, because like it would cut between like the character like murdering people and like doing his psycho behavior shit, and then it would cut between him having these philosophical conversations with like almost like some sort of like grim reaper type character. And it was like I don't know, and at one point it was like talking about like the Nazis, and we were all just like,
oh, not
okay,
let's not let Lars talk
yeah,
about the
let's not let
Nazis.
him talk about the Nazis
Rule of
because
thumb.
we know what
Pretty
he's gonna
bad.
say.
Yeah.
And
Um the
yeah.
only thing that I can think about that even gets close to that is when is in Tarkovsky's Mirror, because
Mm-hmm.
he has in that movie that's kind of autobiographical. He has a poster of Andre, like the character has an Andrei Rublev poster in on his wall, but then it's like because that character is him, so it makes sense that the director, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's the only thing I can think about that comes even close to that. That is
No,
so
but like
insane.
this is like on another level. Like
Yeah.
on another level.
I think I don't know. I haven't seen any Von Trier. I'm gonna watch Melancholia, I think, because I'm most interested in
I
watching
do
that
want to
one.
see
But
that one. Yeah.
nothing has drawn me to his films, so I
Yeah.
don't know. Um,
And stay far.
yeah. As long as you've got your health was from 1966. It's kind of I've been watching it as like kind of inspiration for a script I'm writing that's like kind of like a silent comedy in a way. That might be very, very cool. And it's Pierre attacks. I've seen some weird pronunciation of his word of his name, but it's Pierre attacks, I think. And it was very funny. It was a very funny movie. And I've been rewatching I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson, which is just the best show
Mm.
ever.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just so
So
fantastic. Like
funny.
there's nothing that but practically every sketch works, and it's just, it's just consistent laughs all around. And I've been seeing Peaky Blinders, which I didn't mention last week, but I've been watching it for 2 weeks. I am on the beginning of season two, but I haven't finished
Mm.
it. It's really violent and dark so
Yeah.
far, the second season.
Yeah.
So it's
It only gets
going
more
to
dark.
like dark places. So it's like,
Okay, well, If
Holy
Yoav
shit.
mentions what he's watching, I want to mention what shows I'm watching.
Okay.
Um,
Twin Peaks: The
Currently,
Return, which you haven't finished.
okay, stop, 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 stop. I'm gonna finish it, I promise. But currently, I'm watching The Boys and House of the Dragon and The Bear because those are all like
Holy
they
shit.
all just came out. Like The Boys
The
and House of the
Boys
Dragon
and the
is once a
Bear.
week. Oh, also I forgot Interview with the Vampire because that's also once a week.
Isn't that a movie?
It is a movie, but the TV show is so much better. Like, oh my God.
Mm.
Anyways, that's it. You guys should watch Interview with the Vampire, the show, because oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. It just got renewed for season three, guys. We're getting a
Um,
season three.
I'd rather see the Brad Pitt. Um, who's the other actor in that?
Guys, I
Uh,
feel really disrespected.
I'm unable, Melly, I'm unable to start my video again. It locked it.
Oh,
Well, see you guys
uh-oh,
in our
guys.
next segment. Gonna have to turn my
So,
camera on.
so that's what happens when you disrespect the show.
Oh,
There we go.
oh, thank you. Thank you. That's so considerate of you. Shall we move on to our feature prez?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Should we just keep it on
Let's
this
just keep it
or?
rolling since we're already
All
going.
right, let's plop our backgrounds in this bitch. Which one? Okay,
Oh wow, that was so company of you.
what?
Because when he's smoking the weed and he's like, "Oh, ha ha
Uh,
ha, bitch."
that
Yeah.
was such a not a reference that
I know,
most
but it
people
was
will understand.
funny.
That was a reference to Company the Musical by Stephen Sondheim, which Melly also watched this week. You should have talked about that
I
on
did see that musical.
very good. Waiting for your review of the movie.
Don't worry.
Shall we get into this strange movie?
Let's freaking do
Um,
it.
from the year of our Lord 1973. The spirit of the Beehive. In the aftermath of the Civil War, Spanish Civil War, Anna, a sensitive 7-year-old girl in a rural Spanish hamlet, is traumatized after a traveling projectionist screens a print of James Whale's 1931 Frankenstein for the village. The youngster is profoundly disturbed by the scenes in which the monster murders the little girl and is later killed himself by the villagers. She questions her sister about the profundities of life and death and believes her older sibling when she tells her that the monster is not dead, but exists as a spirit inhabiting a nearby barn. When a loyalist soldier, a fugitive from Franco's victorious army, hides out in the barn, Anna crosses from reality into the fantasy world of her own. Do you get why I didn't want you to read the synopsis? Because that's the
Now
whole
I
film.
understand because yeah, what the fuck?
That's the just the entire
That's
film
literally
on
the whole movie.
Letterboxd. Um, so Spanish Civil War, um, Franco era Spain, the Republic has been overturned. Um, not a great, a very bloody chapter of history.
Yeah.
Um, it like even in the context of like worldwide, what's happened since World War II in the world. It was a very awful war, as is known and as has been explored in cinema, such as Guillermo del Toro's a lot. Um, who Guillermo del Toro obviously loves this movie, and you can see it in stuff like Pan's Labyrinth. Um, but
Mm-hmm. Yes, for sure. For sure.
sorry, what am I even talking? Oh, yeah. So Spanish Civil War. It's a very interesting backdrop, and um, there's. I'm just gonna preface this conversation by saying there is an analysis of this movie that is a war allegory, with Anna and her sister being different sides of the war, and
Mm.
Franco and the Republic, and the dad being a certain figure. I'm not sure who it is, but I couldn't really care less for now
Yeah.
because it this movie means something else to me, so it's kind of like whatever. And I'm just not versed enough in Spanish history to
Yeah.
um
Yep, yep,
to
yep, yep.
just, I don't know if you are either, but
No. Are you kidding?
so
No.
but there's a lot to analyze in terms of the war allegory. And like everything down from what I understand, everything down to like the bees and the shape, like the hexagon shape was like some kind of symbol. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's this whole thing that like me and you, I don't think we're aware of it.
So I
But
actually
it's cool.
I wanted to bring
It's
this
cool.
up because I was like I knew obviously I knew from the beginning and then obviously after finishing it that this movie has a deeper meaning like you were saying.
Hmm.
And I was like scared because I was like because I was thinking this. I was like I was literally like I do not know anything about the Spanish War.
Yeah.
I don't know anything that happened in Spain.
Yeah.
So I was like, am I like gonna be dumb for like not knowing how to piece together the meanings
It's
in
all
this
right,
movie?
man. I told you when I chose the pick, like you just have to let loose and like not even
Yeah.
thinking about
I
that.
am glad that you like that you also don't like fully get it like in
Yeah,
that
no,
way
totally.
because then I was gonna be like, oh,
It's also really complicated and subtle.
yeah, 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 yeah. I
Like
heard that he had to be careful
obviously, yeah, you definitely had
because
to
of
be careful with the
censorship. Is
Spanish
that what
Republic. The
I?
censorship
Yeah.
was a big thing in that era. Famously, I saw some Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Louis Buñuel shot a movie in this area of Spain, in the same time period, and he shot it in like secret, and like a bunch of filmmakers had to do like secret projects because apparently it was easy to get
Oh
under the
shit.
censors to like get movies in that's like half like critical but
Mm-hmm.
not really. So it's I love cinema like that, like
Yeah.
that's like subtly revolutionary. I think that's really cool. um but yeah, Spirit of the Beehive. This movie starts with like really this is what I'm talking about when I say like good opening credits, like the eerie kind of childhood
That's what I want.
paintings and the music. It opens with this very unsettling kind of title sequence. What were you thinking? Because I love it. I don't know. I
So
think it's particularly a
I
standout.
thought it was I loved it. Like I loved how it was such a childish melody.
Yeah,
Because obviously I obviously, you know, the little girls, children are such a integral part of this movie. So I thought
yeah,
that was really cute. And yeah, it does have this eerie vibe to it. Also, the drawings,
or yeah, they're a little
a
concerning as well.
yeah. But
It's interesting.
I did like that and I liked how like simple it was, but you had the kids drawings like okay, like it's
Yeah,
cute, but it's also like creepy, but it's
a
cute.
little eerie. But that's kind
Yeah.
of how this movie isn't. It just encompasses this movie vibe so well because there's so many like cutesy scenes, and we'll talk about it, but like they go and pick mushrooms and they're in the
Yeah.
movie theater and all the kids, you know what I mean? It's like
Okay.
everyone, it's like there's a sweetness to it and the girls are so cute. But there's also a very concerning aspect to the character of Isabel and the character of Anna
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Yeah.
And to the whole family dynamic and to the whole, the war backdrop, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And just like this kind of like haunting, eerie vibe to childhood in general, which I don't think is captured in film very often. Like, I
No.
think there's something about being a child, and we'll get to it, but like there's something about being a child that's very like helpless and very haunting in a way. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's a scene that particularly stood out to me was like Anna is like, I'm jumping around here, but Anna,
Yes.
and there's really
It's
no
okay. I mean, it's kind
Anna,
of hard to
there's
not jump around, I
yeah,
think.
where Anna's like blowing on the bird cage, on not on the bird cage, on the bee cage in her
Mm-hmm.
her dad's like little room there. And she's blowing on them, and trying to make them move, but they won't budge. And that's like encompasses that whole like kind of helpless feeling you get as a kid because it really is an adult's world, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, and the adults are just like controlling everything, and there's big wars going on, you know. And in the
Hmm.
grown-up world, it's full of like I said, conflicts and wars and complicated marriages like that of her parents, um, and monsters, and there's just so much to fear practically. Um, but you know the way the movie handles that fear and that helplessness is just so interesting, and also the confusion, and like you got a scene right after that of Isabel and the cat.
Oh
That's a
my God,
very, I
that
don't like that scene's just kind of strange.
well, I
But
think
she,
it's kind of interesting because um if you think about it through the lens that you're like talking about and how like how like helpless you are as a child, you don't have control over a lot of things. It's almost like a way to for kids to find control,
yeah,
right?
just like
So,
kids like playing like torturing ants, you know what I mean?
mhm. And then
Um,
I think also what adding to what you were saying, like the whole aspect of Frankenstein and how um he's a spirit and that like you can like almost conjure him and like
yeah,
like talk to him and like you know what I mean? Like and he
yeah.
can like be there if you do these like if you close your eyes and like say
Which
these things like
Isabel's interpretation of that movie is so crazy.
yeah, right? I was like, that's what you got from that? Like,
But
okay.
that's how the child's mind works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't know if the director watched this when he was a kid and took it, but you know,
Mhm.
Isabel's just, you know, that scene with the cat, like you said, I never thought about it that way, but like trying to ca- take control and have control, and then the cat scratches her, and you don't really understand what pain is or blood is, and so she just uses the blood as
It's like
lipstick,
lipstick.
which is such an iconic scene. I just find
Hmm.
it really. I
Which
watched
I
this
mean,
right.
I've done that as a kid.
Really,
Yeah,
really.
I'm not kidding. I've
Well,
done
there
that.
you go. You know what I mean? There's so much in this movie that's like reminded me of feelings I had when I was a kid that I
Hmm.
didn't really haven't really remembered. I just feel like a little kid watching this in a
Yeah.
way, and that's like the biggest appeal for me with this thing. Um,
So,
I was watching this next to my cat, which was very
oh,
nice, but he got freaked out when the cat started meowing. He woke up and he was like,
I mean, I would freak out too
what's
if I was a
going
cat.
on? Or if you were a human listening to a human
Yeah.
being killed, you know what
Well,
I
that's
mean?
yeah.
Yeah, and the
Um,
bees were really bothering him too. The scenes with the bees, he started like being
so
freaked
moral
out
of the
by the.
story, don't watch this with your cat.
Yeah, I was gonna watch it with my dad actually, but he was too tired, and I was like, "You're literally gonna fall asleep. There is no point to watch it." Anyways,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, I do want to say that I really like the beginning part where like the truck was coming into the town and they were gonna play the
yeah,
and I wish I really enjoyed that. And I
mm,
and I personally wish that we saw maybe more of the little town or like this
yeah,
little like with the people.
yeah.
Um, because like I went into it thinking that it was gonna be like more of that, and then there wasn't, which was like
More world
fine.
building and
I
stuff.
wish there was a little bit
Yeah,
more of that. Especially because knowing
yeah.
it took place in it takes place like after like fresh after war, like I thought it was also gonna be like okay, like community relying on like on each other, like we need each other, we need to like rebuild. I
But
thought it was
that's the
gonna
thing,
be
it is very cold, and it's very
yeah.
you know, it doesn't hold your hand at all. And
Mm,
that's kind of how the war era kind of is though, because under the Franco regime, you know, you get this village that like does there's barely conversations in the village, like it's totally
mm-hmm.
quiet, and sometimes you got children coming in. Like there's such an interesting scene when the children come in and like make a whole fuss about the movie, and then they go off frame, and then it's suddenly silent again. Or like
Yeah.
the children are going to school and there's like murmurs and then silent again. And I think the thing that Victor Reese kind of wanted to capture with this film was that kind of silence and in
Mm,
that kind of era. And yeah, that he could have spent more time on that. Um, especially concerning this movie's like length. This movie's not length, it's pacing because it's incredibly slow. Like there's room to
it
put things
is.
in. But I don't know. I'm a big fan of the pace, so maybe that would require a longer runtime.
Well,
Um,
no, I think no, that's definitely really interesting. And like
yeah,
maybe because like I'm so used to um like from like my own experience like within
yeah,
like my family, like my own culture, like maybe because like we're so like community oriented and like just like helping like rebuild after like tragedies that
yeah.
like maybe that's why I went into it thinking it was going to be like a little bit
For
more
sure,
like
but
that.
then there's
But
this
I
whole
but I like that a lot and the whole idea
yeah,
of like silence and having to live with the horrors that were like
yeah.
like happening, I guess.
And it's also like the government at the time, from
Hmm.
what I understand, because they overturned a liberal public. So I'm guessing it's like a very conservative revolution.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like then there's the whole thing with the soldier later when he's shot down and like you can tell people are like whispering about it and then the dad
Hmm.
goes and it's just like a quiet like procession and everyone's just like silently taking care of what happened and like the soldiers there. It's very hush hush
Yeah.
hush. And
So,
the sorry,
no.
and the soldier part is so interesting because it's like really short. Like she goes in,
Hmm.
there's one scene with the soldier, and she's there a lot. Like she's at the well even more than what we see, or
Yeah.
at least that's how I interpreted it. Like she spends a lot of time at the well and at
Hmm.
the thing, and like, um, and that whole thing is like how'd you interpret her like being drawn to it? Because it's kind of like childhood like curiosity and like the fact that Isabel said that Frankenstein was there and this like kind of obsessiveness that kids have over certain things and certain locations. I just thought it was interesting.
Well, okay. So, I think the this is something I've been wanting to share.
Yeah.
So, um, I think that injured soldier guy, whatever he was, I think that was almost like her Frankenstein. That's kind of how I interpreted it. Like,
Yeah.
one day she shows up and she sees this like mysterious guy that she's never seen before. She's never met him before. And, he's kind of sitting there and like obviously like she knows that he is injured or something's wrong with him. And like, she like takes care of him in like a very like
Yeah.
innocent child way. She ties his
Even though
shoes.
you would expect her to like run away and be super
Yeah.
scared, but she doesn't.
No, and I think she doesn't because of the movie and like because of what she's seen.
Yeah.
And
Because she's worried they'll kill him. And then they
yeah,
do.
and then they
The
do.
townsfolk kill him
Just like
just like in the
Frankenstein.
movie.
Or
And
sorry, his name is not Frankenstein, the monster.
it's
Sorry, guys.
Frankenstein's
Frankenstein's
monster.
monster. Um, I
But
always
like
do
there's
that.
that scene in the original movie next to the lake, which is obviously replicated at the like the almost end of the movie.
Yeah.
Um, and in that scene, he's kind of like nice to the girl before he kills her. I don't know what happens in the film because I haven't seen the film, but I
Neither
think
have
she
I.
does something to agitate him. I don't know. I'm not sure. Or the dad comes in and tries to like kill Frank. Like that's how what I think happened. Um, anyways, so there's this kind of tenderness to Frankenstein's monster because
Mm-hmm.
he's like he doesn't mean he's a good he has different intentions. Like he doesn't have intentions to hurt anyone.
No.
Um, or just the character of Frankenstein's monster in general is like that. So there's a sympathy to him. That it's easier for kids to see someone injured and want to help them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not think about like, oh, which kind of soldier is this? Like, where is he sent?
Right.
What would my dad think of this? Her dad? I don't know what his political beliefs are, but he
Not yeah.
does cooperate with the Franco government later, so it's like, I guess he's not that revolutionary. Even though I don't
It's
know what that soldier is. Like, I don't know if he's from the Republic that's like, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know, I think it's kind of like to me what how I see it is that it almost doesn't matter like
Yeah,
what side he's
totally.
on, where he comes from, because like at the end of the day, like obviously he's still a human being, like he's still hurt.
Yeah,
And what
yeah,
matters is that like Anna has like, she found like a little companion for a short moment. And
yeah.
it kind of goes into like that whole like what you're saying, like the whole childlike wonder and not really knowing like what anything is and
Yeah, like we
um
don't really see like even the symbol on the guy's vest. There's no shot that like shows that. You know what I
mhm.
mean? Because it's not important to a kid.
No,
Like a
it's
kid
not.
wouldn't see what flag. You know what I mean? And that's so I like how that's framed at
Me
least.
too.
And there's that whole thing with the watch. That's like it's a pet peeve of mine. Okay, because
What?
why? There's no room in the watch for a mechanism that makes music. So it's like, how is it making music?
Oh.
But then you can just be like, it's magical realism, really. Like that's just I fucking like it's a pet peeve, but I love it. I love magical realism because I
Mhm.
love when there's little things in a world that don't make sense to us, but like it's the world of the movie. Like it's okay, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
Guillermo del Toro does this a lot in like
Yeah.
Pan's Labyrinth and stuff, but so you can definitely see the influence. But like I love how the watch can make music, even though there's no room for music making. I just love it. I don't
Yeah.
know. There's something so like things we see as magical when we're kids that are just like not magical at all. It's just like our imagination. And maybe in that world the watch does make music, but
Or maybe it doesn't, and maybe she just hears music from it because she's
who cares, man? Yeah.
drawn or attached to it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's just like Pan's Labyrinth where there's a way you can analyze this where it's like not magical, where this movie isn't magical at all. Like, oh, there's a mechanism in the watch that makes music. Or later in the scene where she imagines Frankenstein. There's a shot before she sees him. So there's a shot before she sees him where she finds a mushroom because basically she ran off into the mountain that her dad talked about.
Hmm.
Um, where she finds a mushroom. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
She finds a mushroom and she like goes to grab for it, but then we don't see what happens with it. There's a world where she ate the mushroom and it kind of had like a little poison in it and that made her hallucinate Frankenstein. But, so there's like an excuse for it, but it's also magical realism. Like this
Right.
movie starts with a quote that's like, um, somewhere in the Castilian plain of 1940. It just feels like the beginning of like a fairy tale. It doesn't seem like we
Hmm.
should take. And then, you get like you said, the cute scene of the village kids getting so excited and pumped to watch the movie. And then during the movie, you get when the movie starts, which is practically when the spirit of the Beehive starts, when
Yeah.
Frankenstein starts, there's a producer's warning that's like, don't take the movie too seriously. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's kind of like there's a double meaning to that because this movie kind of has some magical realism elements to it, and like obviously this whole like meditative, like floaty kind of directionless vibe to it that's just very like magical and fairy tale and childhood wonder.
Yeah.
And I love how it includes that warning and like because it's kind of like a warning for the movie we're watching, you know?
It is. It really is.
So, what were your thoughts on the cinematography here? Because I think we haven't talked about that. We haven't
No, we
yapped about that
haven't.
yet. There's a
Well, I
lot to
mean, look
yap
at
about.
this. Wait, is it gonna show? Ah,
Is that how you're
ah.
judging the cinematography?
Yes, and
Let me.
I want to stick my finger up that guy's nose right there
Which guy?
behind you.
Oh, oh. I can't see. You're going beyond the.
I'm
I'm gonna
so
pat. I'm gonna pat that girl's head.
Oh, you are?
I'm talking
Okay.
about you, Melly. I'm talking about you, Melly.
Oh
Your head's being
shit.
pat.
Oh
I'm sorry.
shit. Um,
Wait,
no,
can we
okay.
do a thing where it's like, you know what I mean? You do the continuation.
Oh, hold on. I gotta move the mic.
Oh wait, and then I'll be like this. Okay, we'll see if that works later.
Wait, you go.
Anyways,
Wait, go, go.
so this director kind of got criticized for his for his like cinematographic style
Well, he kind of
because it's
used
like
you said he used the same
yeah, because they're like it feels like more like a foot like a photograph gallery than
mm,
like because there's like so much repeated shots and it's like
yeah.
this movie looks fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
Like it looks just
Lots
fucking stunning like
lots of
all the time.
um like medium shots and like more
Yeah.
wider shots and
I love I love it.
we
I
know
love it.
Yoav loves that.
I fucking love it. Like I there's just nothing to say. The cinematography is it's just fucking beautiful to the eyes. It's such a cleansing experience. Like the yellows and
Oh,
and the way the sun bathes everything in like this yellowish hue, and it's kind of like autumnal and kind of summery at the same time. But
hmm.
it's kind of like this not like nice warmth. You know what I mean? Like there's kind of like a sickness to the warmth,
Yeah,
and I don't
yeah,
know
yeah,
how to
yeah.
describe it because there's like a you can almost like smell the air in their house, like the dust kind of. I
Hmm.
don't know. I don't know. It's just so, or like you can smell like the dampness of that abandoned house or the well. It's just like it's shot in such a
Even like the
beautiful and
movie
thoughtful
theater.
way. Yeah.
Like you can
Which I
like
also
smell
love
how old it is.
in general. I just love those kind of like old village kind of like movie theaters. Like when
Yeah.
people used to like when a movie would only come once a month and people used to get excited over movies, you know? It's so nice. I actually recently last week I visited the town that my grandpa's parents kind of founded the town
Hmm.
um in like 1920 something
Hmm.
during
Okay.
the years of the mandate. And so I visited it for the maybe for the second time in my life, but I was really young when I visited it for the first time, so I don't
Yeah.
remember anything. Um, but it's just this quaint little town.
Right.
Um, and there was a movie theater there. That's like really it's closed. It's kind of like a museum now because there's just like pictures of like the people that used to sit there because it's not like the projection thing was like very old and like for film and all that. And like you could see the handle that they used to like
Oh,
it
that's
really reminded me of
sick.
the movie theater here where it's like I
Yeah.
love that like kind of community like a movie used to come in and everyone used to like sit and like the adults used to like smoke like the whole Cinema Paradiso, like it was just like a
Yeah,
community.
yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
went to the theater. I love that vibe, and I wish movies had that much of importance
Hmm.
to the world as as it does to this village and for the kids to like watch something and be so this whole movie's just about the impact of one piece of media on this girl
Yeah.
how it changes her whole world and I love that what else? The score, the musical score. We talked
It's
about
so
it a little earlier.
it's
It's
so good. It's so cute, but also like a little like we said in the beginning, a little eerie, but I think it's really cute.
so you get the piano and the flute, which is kind of like a melancholy, creepy version of a Disney of like an old Disney movie. Like
Hmm.
there's definitely whimsy there, but it's definitely
Yes.
also melancholic and like um and then there's the guitar parts of the score, which is like more like kind of just like mellow and
Hmm.
it's like kind of like hazy. And then there's the vocal driven parts of the score, which is like richer, like downright haunting
Yeah.
and you get that most notably at the end where she meets Frankenstein,
Yeah.
which by the way is in my like I find that scene to be incredibly just like fucking transcendent. Like I don't know what it is about her seeing Frankenstein in the flesh and like the look of that actor that plays Frankenstein and like how they kind of put like makeup. You can tell it's makeup on him, but it's kind of
Hmm.
like she's meeting like her face turns into his face in the lake, and it's like this child like up front with the thing that's been worrying her and fascinating her and like scaring her this whole time. This confrontation is just so fucking there's just something so fucking transcendent about it. I don't know. I I'll be honest with you. I shed a tear.
Really?
Um
The first time or the second time?
this time only,
Wow.
not the first time. In the scene where she meets Frankenstein, I shed a tear. Cause there's just something so beautiful about it. I don't know. It's creepy. It's definitely creepy and confusing, which is also maybe why I shed it. But there's something so like visceral. Like that whole part, I was just like, I wasn't writing notes. Like my phone was just to the
Hmm.
side, and I was just like watching, like, because this movie's just such a like a sit down and just soak up in the colors and the vibes and the childhood to it and the beauty of it and this ending. How are you feeling? Because it's really like I find this ending to be just
See.
so fucking good. I just fucking love it.
I like I don't really know how to like get my like thoughts across.
Yeah.
Um Basically, I mean like I was kind of just like writing about like how like the death affected her. That's kind of like what I was writing from like the very end. And
Yeah.
how like I don't know, like she kind of like puts the pieces together and
Hmm.
she's standing here again where she like her sister pranks her that she died, which
Dude,
is
Isabel
fucked
is such
up.
a fucking menace, dude.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that's
Isabel is low-key diabolical, like
I like
in
I literally
everything.
wrote that. I was like, this girl is a fucking menace because what do you mean you trick your 7-year-old sister into thinking you're dead?
It's iconic. It's fucking iconic. Isabel's so fucking iconic.
But I don't know, I kind of was just like writing about how like
And
as
she's
a
like, yeah, I saw
7-year-old,
Frankenstein.
yeah.
What?
Well, like she like I hate using this term, but like she like gained consciousness about like death and like
Yeah,
you know what I mean and like what it actually means to like
totally.
die
Yeah.
and I think I don't know, I thought that like her standing here and then her standing there again in the end was like pretty powerful. Um
Yeah. And by the way, this whole movie wouldn't work without these amazing child
oh my
performances that are
God.
just like, how
She's
do you
so
even get that
cute.
out of a kid? She is so cute.
She's so
And so is
cute.
Isabel. Isabel's really sweet, but she's concerning a little.
A little bit.
Um, there's just like a standout moment is definitely the actress is actually named Anna and the
Hmm.
Isabel's actress is actually named Isabel.
And their
Um,
parents are also both named Fernando and Teresa.
yeah, oh, by the way, what I was gonna say is that the dad looks like
Looks like
David
David
Thewlis.
Thewlis. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I'm
And
glad we both felt that because
he
that's the
acts
first thing I
in Pedro Almodovar's All About My Mother, but I don't remember who he is.
know.
But yeah,
No,
the
like the
fun
first thing
fact.
I thought when this guy came on stage on in the frame, I was like, oh, he looks like an older version of David Thewlis. Like,
And by the way, this guy he directed 29 films himself, and he it looks like he made some creepy kind of like shit.
oh.
So
And the
he's kind of
mother's
a freak
beautiful, by the
himself.
way. Teresa's drop dead
Oh yeah,
gorgeous.
she's much younger than him though, which is a
Mm-hmm.
little like part of the dynamic about this dad that kind of writes and like cares for his beehive, writes about and cares for his beehive all day. And the mom that's like daydreaming about and like writing letters to this lover that's like
Yeah.
out of frame and we don't know about. And at the end she like burns her letter, so I guess she kind of stops
Mm-hmm.
mailing throughout the
Maybe because
film
of what
like
happened
she
to Anna.
yeah, but she has this whole journey herself that's just like
Yeah,
so
but
interesting.
I don't know. I wasn't really concerned with the parents. See,
Yeah, but they're
that
kind of
was that
they're
was
just there.
that was what one of my complaints about the movie
Yeah,
is that like there are certain parts where you find it hard to really care.
I
And
get it.
I wrote like certain parts of the movie. I like certain parts of the movie um over others, and I also like individual pieces of this movie rather than the whole thing put together, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Because I feel like I don't know. Some of it, like in my opinion, like wasn't like super, super, super like cohesive.
interesting.
Interest,
Cohesive.
yeah.
Hmm. Well, I get what you mean. Like, I don't know. I really like how this movie does its like exposition, for example. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't really hear Anna or Isabel talking until like 15 minutes into the movie. Like,
Yeah.
the camera's just like floating around to the dad and the mom, and like, it's kind of like it kind of like slowly finds its protagonists in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But and that can also be read as messy. But I really don't know. This
I
movie's kind of a
didn't think it
puzzle.
was messy. I just found like I don't know, like it just I don't know, certain parts it was hard to really care about them because, it was
Yeah.
like
I get it. The parents are like, for example, the parents are like not really relevant to the
no.
until like later. But then you need to see them to like understand their struggle to find Anna and that whole thing later as
Mm-hmm.
well. Um, and there's that whole scene with the dad and like recognizing the soldier that was I think there's interesting parts to it. And then the whole dad's monologue about the bees is like difficult to understand. Like I don't understand the metaphor with the bees.
No, same. I don't either.
I'm not gonna lie, but it's cool.
Like
I fuck
I
with it.
thought I thought the bees were
Is
gonna
it a
be
metaphor? I don't know.
it probably is. I thought it was gonna be a metaphor for again, like community, like beehive, like sticking together, but it
Perhaps,
wasn't.
perhaps.
Well, I didn't read it as that. I thought maybe it
I
would have
don't
been.
know. I didn't either. It, it's not. It's definitely not. That's like a very like easy comparison. Like what would bees represent in a movie? Oh, beehive community.
Well,
But
yeah,
like that's the
obviously.
kind of thing you think about before you watch a film. But like this
Yeah,
movie's
that's what I was thinking of before, not
a
after.
little more clever, a little more clever than what you would expect. It's just it's hard to, it's definitely a puzzle piece that you like you either want to like I've seen on people on Letterboxd that you can tell that they just want like I, for example, am a person that really wants to understand this movie even deeper than I have on like a second watch. Like
Hmm.
this definitely lends itself to multiple rewatches and
For
like
sure.
if you're interested enough to like unpack the puzzle and like solve it, even though I don't know if there's a way to solve it, it could definitely be very, very rewarding. But yeah, back to the performances. There's that point where Isabel lies to her, and then she's like, it's the first time where she says, uh, "It's me, Anna. It's me, Anna."
Hmm.
And then they
Hmm.
hear the father's footsteps from upstairs, and just
Yes.
Anna's eyes, like
Oh yeah,
her
yeah, yeah,
big
yeah.
eyes during that scene when she's like scared because she hears the footsteps is just all those scenes in bed were just amazing, like acting wise, because just those two girls, like
Just the two of
that's
them.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's just amazing performances. I love that Isabel's line where she's like, "Everything in movies is fake. It's a trick." Like this movie's constantly reminding you that like and like all the reactions from the kids in the cinema itself just seems so real. It's like,
Hmm.
well, obviously it's kind of like they kind of just brought people in and like got their honest react like kids' honest reaction from Frankenstein, and you can tell. Um, and it's just what else did I write? I love how the beehive there's like beehive style windows,
Well,
and
yeah.
it's so fitting. Yeah, and the shots of the bees and the color and like I don't care if it's a metaphor. It's just so
Like I
it's
want
just
to know
so
what
nice.
it's a metaphor for, but
Yeah. Dude, why did they let the kids put the heart in the middle of the dummy when the heart like we we as a human race already knew that the heart was on the left at that point, right?
yes, but I think it's also just one of those things where like
Why are you
Like,
tricking the
I don't
kids?
think it's tricking. I don't think it's tricking. I think it's
Yeah,
genuinely the teacher probably
making it
doesn't
more
even know.
digest. Maybe. And they're like reading these like really darkly like ominous like poetic
Yeah.
books
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in class, and it's like, what? Why are you letting your kid? Anyways, there's this whole thing of like media and like how it affects the kids, and she reads this ominous book, and that like is part of why she runs away, I think. And
Hmm.
like the fear of everything that's around you as a kid is just so. And like you got these shots of like when they go to the field for the first time, and this extreme long shot of the girls running, and like there's like fades and they kind of do like skips in time. Which by the way, I love the crossfades in this movie. That the crossfades are really cool. Um, but like this shot where they're going into the field for the first time, and it's just like everything is like so much bigger than them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like this empty. It's
And
just
I
so.
think that kind of goes to show that, like, again, as a kid, you think you can just run away and it'll solve your problems, but in the end, it's like, sorry, kid, you fucking can't. You
I
can't
remember
outrun it.
feeling like like I remember feeling like that when I was a little kid, just like whenever I was upset, just trying to fucking
Yeah.
like get out of there, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
That whole, by the way, every scene in like the well area and like the little like house is so like liminal space core. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
You know what I
totally get
mean?
it.
It's so
Like,
like
low key, at any given moment, you're like, is something gonna fucking pop out of the well?
yeah, like the way they shot it as
Hmm.
well. And like you can't really
Creepy.
see when she goes into it. Anyways, the mushroom hunting scene is very cute.
Yes.
I like it. It's
I
a
agree
very
with that.
cute
That was
scene,
wholesome scene.
very
Let me
informational,
see if I have anything
really cool.
else.
I want a shaving cream applicator like the dad's. Like I want to
Oh,
get
those
one
are
of those.
so,
I
yeah.
want that so bad. It just looks so nice. What the fuck else did I read? The shot of the doorway within a doorway within a doorway within a
Hmm.
doorway. They use it multiple times. It's like, wow. Hey, what'd you think of the train scene? I fucking love that scene.
Oh my God. Okay. I
Because it's
thought,
the poster for the film.
yeah. I I think it again, it just contributes to like what we've been saying about like the whole like childlike wonder thing, because it's like, oh my God, like the train's coming and they have their necks like on
But it's
the,
so scary
well,
as
yeah,
like
but
an
that's the
older
thing.
person.
That's the thing. They don't know. They probably don't even
Yeah,
know. They probably don't even realize how
yeah.
dangerous like what they're doing is.
Or like the way Anna doesn't move away.
Yeah.
And it's like they don't care. Like we as like adults care. They
Mm-hmm.
don't.
They
You know what I
don't.
mean? So it's just like scary in a way. And that whole like the image of their necks on the railway is like it's like scare like the whole it's a thing. It's like subjective because for them they don't care, but we care, and like that's the poster for the movie. So it's
Right.
like there's this ominous part, and there's I like when we look back at shit we did, but then there's them which are probably experiencing this bewilderment of what the world looks
Mm-hmm.
like, and the sweetness and the melancholy and the fear
Exactly.
of being alive. It's so it's well, it's really
Exactly.
good. Isabel is just like concerning in general, but she did grab Anna out of there in time.
Good.
Um
That's good.
that scene where she like plays dead, it's like, Isabel, what are you doing?
She's
What are
so
you doing, girl?
goofy. She's just a girl.
Girl, what are you doing?
Oh, you know what I
You
said?
what?
Sorry. I said that this is almost like a kid's version of Daisies.
In a way, yes.
Like when they're like
That's a really good
explore
double feature.
when they're
That's a really
exploring
fucking
and
good double feature.
trotting.
Yeah.
I was like, okay,
Good stuff.
daisies.
So, what are your thoughts about the character of Isabel being compared to Isabel Vancha? Anyways, um,
That's some
also
tea to tell.
another niche reference, Milagros. You mean the restaurant? You mean the restaurant Milagros
I don't get it.
from next to where you live? It's like a Spanish restaurant
I did not know that it was a thing.
in whatever. I can't say it, but there's a
Wait,
I'll tell
what?
you
Now I'm
later.
like, I'm gonna have to Google it.
There's a
What?
restaurant, a Spanish restaurant in your area called Milagros.
Oh.
Anyways, that's a
Oh,
good
I know
place
what
to
this
check them
place
out.
is. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not it's a few cities over.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Also, the fire jumping scene, speaking of Milagros, is just a fucking stunner. I love that scene. Like the fire.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few times where you see fire in this and it's just like really stunning. Um
The
and
fire scene
it's
reminded me of when we used to jump over fire as kids.
you used to do that?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I ever did that in my life.
Really?
I would want to try.
No, we've jumped
Kind
over
of
fire.
risky. Kind of risky. Um, the scene of the family eating soup was kind of wholesome, but then dad's like where Anna and Isabel were like laughing to each other,
Hmm.
and then the dad like takes out the watch and it's like, oh shit, he knows. You know what I
Yeah. Well, it was like it was wholesome, but at the same time it was also just so like awkward because it was just like
mean?
the
Yeah,
silence, but also
yeah,
I get it because it's
yeah,
dark times.
yeah. And then Anna goes away, and then she's found, and the doctor has that amazing monologue which I love, where he's
Oh,
like,
yes,
the
yes,
important thing
yes,
is she's alive. She's
yes.
alive. And I don't know. I don't know. It's so
And
cool.
also
That monologue.
when he was like, she's only a child, like
Yeah.
kind of just
That's
reinforcing
like the
everything we've
key
been
frame.
saying.
That's the
Like,
key phrase. You know what I mean?
she's only a child.
Yeah.
Aren't we
Um,
only, aren't we all only just children?
yeah. Good good analysis, man. Um, anyways, at the end is like her looking out the window and she has this whole thing again where she repeats what Isabel told her. If you close your eyes and say it's me, Anna, will come. Um,
And will he come?
and like
We don't know.
you hear like a crow quacking in the a crow screeching, quacking,
Croaking
a crow croaking in the background. It's like
or
is that
squawking.
Frankenstein's spirit? You know what I mean? Because then it's
Yeah.
like if you're a friend of his, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
The line is if you're friends of his, you can close your eyes and that's such a fucking beautiful ending, man. It's cinema. It's just
That's cinema.
it's pure poetic cinema. Um I don't have any other notes except for this reminds me of a really underrated movie from last year called 20,000 Species of Bees. That's a Spanish film, and it's
Oh,
also about a girl. It also has a main character that's like a little girl, and
so
it has,
I think bees are important.
yeah, I guess bees are in like Spanish culture more than we think.
Yeah, they are.
But like
Okay.
there's another Spanish movie about bees and like little girls. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, this one's a doozy in
Yeah, it
my
is a
opinion.
doozy. It is.
It's yeah. Do you want to go into ratings?
Yeah,
You
let's
want
do
to?
it.
All right, you start because you don't have much time.
I'm gonna give this movie a whopping 4 out of 5.
Pretty good. That was my first rating too, but I just really had so much of a fun time this time around that it's gonna be bumped up to 5 on this rewatch.
Wow. I'm not surprised. I'm
I'm
not
gonna buy the
surprised, guys.
Blu-ray during the
I'm
sale.
I
That's
was
already active.
waiting for you to say that. I was waiting for you to say that.
Let's get a 4K restoration. Like I love this movie. Like this movie just like hits the sweet spot. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've been thinking about it so much since I watched it, and like this rewatch is just gonna make me think about it more. And it's just like it's just so weird and like listless and like hazy and little like childish and like innocent, but also like that's the kind of shit I want to like themes I'm so interested in and
That
like
you
I
want
want
to
to explore in
capture.
my own work. Yeah,
Right. That
like
makes sense.
I love child-focused movies. Like you know my love for something like Where is the Friend's House, which also has a
Right.
lot to do with this, which would also make a great double feature in itself with Spirit of the Beehive. Um, but I love this like child-focused kind of thing. I I don't know. This movie's just so it's so like meta. It's just like a whole headspace. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, we don't have a lot of time left, so I think we should move on to your pick.
Okay, I'm
That
so excited.
I've heard rumors that it's a crazy pick.
Guys,
It's
okay,
like
we
off
got
our.
4 minutes to do this.
All right, give
Okay,
me give me a
so
little.
this movie could not be any more different from what we just did. All
Nice.
right?
Just like this movie has nothing to do with the Handmaiden. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Now, um, we briefly mentioned it, but you know, summer, summer vibes,
yeah.
summer movies.
Summertime
We haven't
sadness.
done like a very summery movie.
No, we
No.
haven't, have we? No.
So I'm taking things into my own hands, and I said
Good.
I am gonna
Good.
pick a summer movie. All
Let's
right?
go.
All
Let's
right.
go. I've been
So,
waiting for a summer pick.
mm-hmm.
Give it to me.
So this movie actually comes before The Spirit of the Beehive. So it was
Wow.
released before.
What year,
Um,
ma'am?
1969, the year my grandparents got
Mm,
married.
oh,
Yeah. Now,
nice.
you're probably
Well,
wondering,
they're celebrating like 75 years.
well, my grandpa's dead, so
Oh. Well,
yeah,
still
still,
causes. Anyways,
still cause. Anyways, this movie, again, is not in English, I don't think.
I'm kidding.
It's in a it's in a language called French, I believe.
Uh-huh.
And this movie is directed by Jacques Deray, and it is the movie La Piscine
Oh, La
or The
Piscine.
Swimming Pool.
That is such a busting pick.
Okay, now here's the description real
Oh
quick.
my God.
The most
Alain
dangerous,
Delon is. Oh,
guys, the most dangerous love game ever played. Set in a magnificent villa near sun-drenched Saint-Tropez, lovers Jean-Paul and Marianne are spending a happy, lazy summer holiday. Their only
oh
concern
yeah.
is to gratify their mutual passion until one day when Marianne invites her former lover and his beautiful teenage daughter to spend a few days with them. From the first moment, a certain uneasiness and tension begins to develop between the four, which soon escalates in a dangerous love game. Now,
Wow.
it has summer, it has passion, it has love, it has pool and
Sex.
water.
Alain Delon.
Yes.
Alain Delon and Romy
And
Sch Scheider? Romy Scheider?
we haven't seen it. Neither of us have seen it. I forgot to mention
Yeah.
that.
I've heard it's such a sexy movie. You have,
Yes.
obviously the actor that's considered the sexiest actor ever to live.
Yes.
So, um, wow. What a pick. And it's so summery as
Oh,
well. Like the
he
trailer is
was
so
in
summery.
La Samurai.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen the trailer for this,
Oh,
but the
and
trailer looks.
Rami Schneider was in the trial.
Yeah. Who's also
And
such a pretty actress. Like
yes. And Jane
this is such a
Birkin.
sexy duo. Yeah. There's also a remake of this. Anyways.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
That's like also
anyways,
considered pretty good. Anyways, we have to wrap it up.
we
So
do.
thank you guys so much for watching.
Thanks,
Um
guys. Stay tuned for this one. Go watch The Spirit of the Honeycomb, or The Beehive, I mean. Um, yeah, we love you.
and watch and watch watch La Piscine. Form your own opinion. See you guys next week. Thank you, Meli, for watching this and enjoying this and having a talk with me about it because I
Of
need to
course.
talk to someone about this strange movie.
Of
Anyways,
course.
have a good week. See you guys next week.
Bye, guys.